And so this is a hands-on workshop. I'm Colin Hobson with a company, and let's actually do this properly. So I'm with a company called Open Spatial. We do GIS stuff, CAD to GIS. We have a number of campuses that use our solutions in various levels. And I want to use our time today to look at different kinds of data collection. And so if you look at your solutions, there's typically in your campus, you're going to have desktop solutions. People are going to be editing data on desktops. They'll also possibly be using online solutions. And then you'll have data collectors. And so in your mind, it's useful to think about, okay, I've got the desktop, I've got online access to in data, and then I've got data collectors. And I differentiate fairly clearly between data collectors and online web apps, because our product, much like anyone else's, you can use it on a browser, you can use it on a tablet, you can use it on a phone. So I've got a mobile GIS. However, it's connected. You lose your data connection, and there you go. So our mobile web-based GIS is GPS enabled, so you can zoom to where you are and all of that. But still, you have to be online, and there are a lot of places where you're not online. And so that's where data collectors come in. The other difference is, typically on your online GIS or desktop GIS, you have availability to all the data. You can see all the feature categories that you can work with. But when you get to data collectors, you want to have a focused, streamlined app that just gives you the forms that you want, because you don't want to be scrolling through layers and layers of stuff. You want it pretty simple and quick so you can take the photo, enter the form, and move along. Okay? So a little slide in your mind, just think about data collectors. So we're actually going to try and go play with a data collector. So I'm going to go pretty quick. If you lose your way, not everyone's going to keep up, but some people will, and hopefully that'll be successful. So what I want you to do is go to amigocloud.com on your device and just log in and get yourself an account there. Okay? So you need to provide an email. By the way, if you guys are wanting to participate, write your email up here. Just feel free to stand up, write it on there. If you want to, you don't have to. You can look at someone else's phone. And in fact, I do have one spare device here as well that's already set up. So when we're walking outside, I'll let someone use that. Put your email there. I'll invite these folks to the project, and then you'll have permissions. And so you'll see on the Amigo Cloud stuff, it has a web-based back end. Amigo Cloud we're a executive partner with them. And so we use that as sort of one of the data collector apps in our solution. I'm going to sit down right now so that I can add it. But here's the steps. Set yourself up on Amigo Cloud. Get the login. It'll send you an email. You need to register that is a legit thing. So they use it sort of a double check that you actually are legit and registered. Then go and download the app. So if you're on Apple or Google, download the app. And I'm telling you this so that when I start entering emails and keeping busy, you can actually get this done. And I'll leave this slide up. And then what will happen is you'll get an email from me and from Amigo Cloud inviting you to the CFTA GIS Mobile Data Collector workshop. And so that'll work from there, okay? Okay, I'm going to move on. There'll be time. I'll come and help you hands-on as we walk around. We'll run out of time, so I'm going to zip right along. And there we go. So what we're doing is we're going to try and do a little mobile thing. We're going to walk outside, go capture some data and see how it works and play with it and come back. The folks on the board, drawing the line, those are the ones that are participating. And so what I just did was go onto the back end over here to this project. And so I'm on Amigo Cloud. This is when if you're an admin, you can go and create projects. So I have a bunch of projects that we've been doing all over the place. And I've set up this one called CFTA GPS. And so what this is to set up the actual data files. I'm not going to try and go through it. There's online help. You can go look at it. You're on a trial now by getting invited and creating an account. You have a trial, so whatever. And so what I've done is just uploaded a few existing bits of data that Liz provided for campus right here. And so that's what we're going to go and play with. You can, and in fact I will, part of what I've tried to do is put points, lines, and polygons. Because a lot of these mobile data collectors only do points. And it's like, well, wait a minute, how do I do lines? So let's actually just go in and I'll add a new data set from scratch right now. This is seat of the pants stuff. So let's go in here, we'll give it a, let's say we wanted to do, and I'm going to choose something that is a line feature, but let's say we want to do irrigation pipes. Right? And what you're going to do then is start clicking in data sets here. And you can build out the form by drawing these things in. You can auto-populate and all of that. I'm actually going to put out a geometry on it. When you put geometry, it says, is it points, lines, or polygons? So I'm going to say it's lines, and it's required. So this is actually then a geometry. Let's put the date. And let's go in and say, and I'm not even, because we're in a hurry, I'm going to just leave them by their defaults. Set the date when created. And that's it. I'm not going to do any more. On the text, we can put that in there. Let's actually put another one as well. So that's comments. I'll add one more text just so we can see on here who captured it. Captured by. And we'll auto-populate that, and we'll make it non-editable. Okay? You see the convert to pick list? If I'd uploaded a shapefile, then that would create the data set. It would get all the columns already in the shapefile, and if you hit convert to pick list, it'll do a unique values within that, and already you'll have the drop downs. And that's what I did for the bike racks. So I'll show you that right now. So let me just save those changes. So now I have a new data set. It's got no rows. I can edit it. It's public or read only. But for the bike racks here, I pulled in the shapefile. So there's the points. You can see them on the map. And then if you go and look and edit the schema on that, that was the forms that I was just busy setting up. Here's the actual stuff that came right out of the shapefile. So it's already there. Okay, and so some of those on like rack type, all I did was hit that convert to pick list, and it gave me this list automatically. Point I'm trying to make is it's actually pretty quick to set up some stuff. One of the things I did on the bike racks, a photo, I suppose I should add, well, you've got photos elsewhere. I could have added that to the irrigation line. I'm not going to do it. It's just an exercise, okay? So let's close that and go back. On the bike racks, one of the things is if you go here, you'll see there's the schema. That's all your columns and all. Then there's forms. If you go to forms, you get a little more fancy, and you can start formatting them and laying them out and dragging them up and down. And really, I didn't spend a lot of time on that for this particular project. And you'll see that they're auto-populated. One of the things on here is also to notice there is a geometry column, and then there's the photo column. But I want to do one thing here. So just go to this. This, on bike racks itself, in that schema, I set up a related table. And so the related table, actually, and I'm going to get rid of this guy, is on this guy here. So what that is I've set up a secondary table for bike rack surveys, so that once a week or whatever, you can send someone around, they can go, look, well, how many bikes are there? Are they registered? Are they locked? And start doing, if you wanted to do a survey. So there's two things going on. There's the geometry. Where is it? What is it? And then there's repeated information that you're going to go and capture, which may or may not be spatial. Typically, it's not spatial because it's related to an existing object on the map. And so in your exercise outside, I'm going to ask you to go and capture a bike rack and then add a survey onto it. Okay? Because the next time, the bike rack may or may not be there. Actually, there are a whole lot missing, so you guys can capture some stuff. And but then add the survey. So I'll just try to add a few different variations. I'm going to leave it at that, jump to my PowerPoint, and give you the instructions so you can get out the door. All right. That's not PowerPoint. Let's try the other one. All right. So, and while we're there, let's just see if everybody's got signed in on the project here. Everyone okay? All right. These guys might need help. Phone's too old? All right. You just take this guy right in. Okay. I can't help you with that.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so let's get moving then. So I set this up here, and I'll just walk you through the app quickly, and then we'll go outside. So if you've managed to join the application, if you join that, you can work. There's one last thing, is this application actually does use mobile GPSs. So there's a Bluetooth set of products, and there'll be another guy joining me, Brian, who's actually the tech for these things. But if you take this and you really want to turn yourself into a propeller head, you may have seen some of us there yesterday, you could take the little puck and set yourself up with a GPS. And it's actually pretty easy and quick to do. So you can just get that set up. So here's Brian, and he's going to help me with that. That's not the one. And so you can actually set up a Bluetooth GPS where you have the device. It's Bluetooth. It'll connect to your mobile device or a certain laptops. Put that on your head. That's the antenna. Or you could put it on a pole and look official and all that. And just put that in your pocket or a little bag. And now you're getting down to 1 foot or so. Capture stuff. The only problem is you got to stand on everything. Well, anyway. All right. So the mobile app, if you have it on your phone, and I didn't want to have to do the tech of getting my phone to show on the screen, so I'm doing it up there. And it does look a little different between Apple and Android, and I have screenshots from both. But if you go to the app, the first thing to do, and you might want to do this as we run along, is go to the settings. On the top left, there's a little menu, that icon there, and tap settings and go and look at online, offline mode. Just so you know where that is. I'll talk about that in a minute. You probably want to change yourself to feet rather than meters. And certainly for this exercise, you want to set your photos down to 1 or 2 megapixels, because if it used the original, it could be like 8 or 5 megapixels, and then you're talking about huge image files, and if things get slow and it stores them on the device or in the cloud. And so you want to set those. So go and check those if you want. If you don't, it doesn't matter. So what happens when you get to the app itself? If you go to projects on your menu, it'll show you, certainly you'll have this, you should have this one if you've been invited and it's there. Anybody got that showing so far? Yeah. Show of hands? I'm just tracking to make sure I got some people following me. Good. And I'm going to keep moving real quick. If you click the project, first thing it's going to do is take you to the map. You want to then go and click on this icon and get the layers. And it's going to download them onto your phone. You'll have, this is an Android, you'll get a slider bar. On Apple, there's just a little slider bar. You get those. You want them downloaded before you go outside. Because I am actually going to recommend at the end of the day that when you're outside, you work offline and then sync when you get back online. It's just more reliable. And I'll explain why. So if you do that, then you'll get these, the slider bar. You actually want to turn those on. So go ahead and let that run while I'm talking. That's fine, I don't mind. I'm used to people looking at their phones while I'm busy. Okay, so get the data sets on your phone. Once you've done all of that, you can close the projects by just clicking somewhere on the background map, so it takes you back to the map. And you should then see, those are the bike racks. They're in yellow. The survey monuments are in yellow. These are bike racks, and they're in red. Definitely. Okay. The first icon up top, the little sort of circular marker there, that's your Locate Me button. It'll take you to wherever your GPS has got you figured. If nothing aligns, then you obviously have a problem, but it should take you right down there. You can turn on, there is for free coverage. It's got the background map, and they have an Amigo Cloud satellite image. I wouldn't use that right now because the resolution on a campus situation is really pretty bad. In these projects, you can load up your own imagery as backdrop. So I put in a little piece of that. If you look on your app, if you scroll down, it says Kittredge raster image. You can turn that on, and that's a 6-inch image, so that when we're outside, when you're at the monument, you'll actually see on the image, you'll see where you're at. Okay, and I'll show you those by hand. But just so you know, you can turn things on and off there. All right? The top right icon shows you that you're online, offline, and if you see there where the little Wi-Fi is, if you see a circle going round and round, that's synchronizing, okay? So you'd want to kind of wait until it's turned from brown to green and the percentage has got to 100 and you get back to that, okay? So to add data, let's just walk through the user interface. To add data, you literally just click the plus button. The first thing it's going to do is ask you, well, what kind of feature you're trying to capture. So if you choose bike racks, you can then either tap on the screen or you can just hit plus again. So if you have an actual accurate GPS and you are standing on whatever you're trying to, as long as the antenna is where you want it to be, you can have two people actually. You can have the person with the mobile GPS and the Bluetooth person could be a little further away. That helps because then you get the GPS at the location of what you're trying to capture, and the other person can take the photo and enter the info and all of that stuff, as long as you're within Bluetooth range, about 20 feet. Anyways, hit plus button, select the feature type, show on the map. If you don't like where it is, you can actually tap it and drag it, move it around, so you can zoom in on the map, especially if you have a high-res color image as backdrop and you're not using an accurate GPS that you've plugged in. That high-res image actually gets pretty accurate data because people can see where they're at, they can move the thing and drop it and check it. Anyway, once they're done, you just hit the checkbox and that will actually then save the data. If you're adding a new one, the moment you've put it on the map, you hit the checkbox, it pops up a form, which we just defined, and you fill out whatever you want on the form. There are a couple of things to know. The geometry one is you can then go and still edit the position again, and you can come back to an existing one and move it. That's the geometry one. These forms, if there's a drop down, you drop it down, you'll get a pick list depending if it's Android or Apple. It looks a little different, but you get the scrolling list. You just pick what you want. Some stuff's automatically filled in, and then you can add the information. For bike racks, right at the bottom, there is add a survey. So once you've captured the first bike rack, you can then add a survey. If it's an existing bike rack, you can click on it on the map, pulls up the form, go to the bottom, add a survey, and then you can, on the form it has what I call primary information, you know, what type of rack, how many bikes or whatever. But then the survey would be, well, what condition is it in, how many are occupied, locked, and the like, okay? To edit existing data, here you go. Tap a button on the screen. If you hit more than one, it'll actually show you a list of, well, hey, you've got 3 things selected. What are you actually trying to edit? You can edit stuff, move it. That's sort of the move. Once you've moved it, you can either decide you didn't like that, or you can delete the actual object, or you can save it. Once you've edited a form, by the way, hit the back button. That's going to say bail out. It'll actually warn you. It'll say, hey, you made changes. You sure you want to exit? Or you can hit save up there, or you can just say, no, I don't want to add this and bail out. So those are the kind of things. So let's get started. Go outside. This is what it looks like on Apple, by the way. A little scroll bar, and then it'll get there. So what I suggest you do is, if you're on the app, download the bike racks, the building footprint, the survey network, and Kittredge South image, and your irrigation if you want to. You can turn those on afterwards. You can work online, outside. Just a word about online, offline. I'm recommending we do this offline. Here's why. On these data collector apps, the data is in the cloud. It's online. The device has a copy. Each of you has a copy of that data on your device, and you can add a lot. What happens is, if you're online and you're walking around with the device, every time you add something, it puts it on the cloud, and everyone else in the project resyncs. So you have 10 people capturing data. Jim here captures something, no offense, Everyone else now has to wait while you're getting Jim's point added to your data set. So you find your device is synchronizing a lot if you've got a lot of folks like whacking on it at the same time. So the solution to that is go offline. Works real nice because it, and there's a couple of tricks on this particular app. Get to download the data in the region where you're at. It actually buffers out some of the imagery and backdrop data. So you can functionally work in an area pretty good and go offline, add all your stuff. You're not waiting for synchronize with everybody else's activities. Don't really care where they're at. And then you can synchronize back and off it goes. And if the sync fails, it's still got everything on your phone and you can actually still make a backup dump of that. It actually creates a little database, GIS database on your phone. We can actually sync that back and we can extract information. So even if the battery dies, the phone goes down, everything is on the machine, you're there. It works pretty well. And if we get time, I'll show you a real project where we did this. Okay, so that's how you go offline on settings. If you go to the GPS, you can look at it there. So what I want you to do is go out and capture a bike rack. Here's where we are, right there, the blue dot. We're going to head south and head down towards the monuments, which are down here. So probably go around these buildings either way. And we're just going to walk there and back, and we've got 15, 20 minutes, and that's about it. So enter some information. I know some of you are really meticulous about your data. This is just an exercise. Just do one or two, move along, okay? All right. And that's about it. And there is a survey there as well. And then we'll come back here. So, Liz, Brian, could you stand up, please, sir? So Brian, and you'll notice here he has a device there. Brian is the person who has kindly provided a few mobile Bluetooth GPS devices. And so if you really, really want to play with one of these, you can go do it afterwards, or he can help one person at a time. Currently, this particular setup seems to work better on the Apple devices, pretty easy. It does require you to download an app, so you'd have to install it. I'll have it on mine. Liz may have one, and Brian will have one. So you can go and check how we're working. For your purposes, on the mobile device, it's the same thing. It's just getting the GPS feed from this on the Bluetooth GPS instead of this GPS. This GPS, navigational quality, 10, 20 feet. Don't get excited, okay? But certainly is useful. But I found that by being able to move the geometry around, you can get pretty good mapping. And certainly for surveys and stuff, it's pretty good. So we are going to head southish that way. On the map, let me just show you here. We're going to head, don't go any further than the following. And if I lose a few of you, it's okay. It's not my problem. On the survey network, there are a couple of survey points way down here. Sorry, I'm on a hotspot here. The Wi-Fi in this place is pretty slow. We're right here, right? You're going to Kittredge Loop. You're just going to walk down. We're there. You're just going to walk down. Actually, we can turn on to the yellow dots. Yeah, let me just turn on the little satellite here, and then you'll see. There we go. All right. So there's the planetarium. If you go that way, you're going the wrong way. Go down here, walk around these buildings. You can go either side, doesn't really matter. But there's a survey marker there. It's an orange pole. And actually, if I click on it, I went and captured a version of it yesterday. I thought if I clicked on it. Here's the actual the data that I captured. And it looks like this. So if you get to this point, you've made it. Okay, don't go any further because you'll run out of time. And right on the ground, pretty cool. There's a nice actual NOAA geodetic right there. Okay, so your marching orders for this, for the purposes of this, is to capture the following. A couple of bike racks. Just look at them, take a picture, capture one, and then add a survey for a bike rack, and then everyone do the survey monument. Okay. Let's try and be back here in 15, 20 minutes. We got half an hour, we're done. I want to show you then how to take this data and put it into your GIS. Don't know if we'll have time, but there you go. All right? Okay, let's go. No, what's the problem?
Yeah, because I tried that, nothing happened. So
All right. Fine, okay. So hit it to
It's better to be offline.
you know, it doesn't really matter. Let me try it on mine, I'll show you. It's just exercise, so you'll be fine there. Come on, kiddo. Let's go. So it's finding me.
What does it mean when it's white?
That means you're busy editing it. So if you hold your finger on it when it's white, then you can drag it around. Yeah. So I clicked on it. Now I hit edit. Now it turns white.
Okay.
Yours didn't. I don't know why. And I'm not going to try and figure it out now. And then you can grab the guy and literally move it by holding your finger on it.
yeah.
My phone is like an offset, so it doesn't. But you can move it around.
Okay, and then I would.
And then once it's done there, you hit the checkbox and you've updated the position.
Okay.
It works pretty good. All right, you're a.
I'm just following along.
All right, okay, all right. All right, I'm more or less.
So far.
So far, check that out, huh?
So now what do you need to do when you get here? I mean,
The check mark is different.
the check mark.
Yeah, if you click on it, you can. Well, don't move it. That's probably
okay,
not a
there
good idea, but you can certainly take a photo.
1955. That tree wasn't there in 1955.
Yeah. So it's the other question then. Who planted a tree right next to our monument? There we go. Yeah. Good. All right. Everyone who wants theirs to work is working. I want to get back so I can actually show you the data on it's because we'll just upload it. It'll be done already.
So do we need to enter any of this data here?
No, I don't want. Well, you can if you really want to. If you want a good picture of the praying mantis, that would be fine
Yeah.
too.
We're all set there.
Okay. All right, let's head back. Undistracted. Just go sort of the same way you came. That way we can make everybody move along. It's usually the problem with these joint ventures. Hey.
It increases the accuracy. Is that
Well, now instead of using the GPS in here, I'm using the GPS in my pocket. So this guy and this one is actually actually pretty good. I mean, you know, they work real well. So it's
I think Michigan State does too. We have the state.
yeah, exactly. Well, there's one here. They have a base station right here. Yeah. So this will tie into that. So that is where we are. Okay. Cool.
Because, like, you know,
All right.
you see, okay, there's a gas line there, but hey, you need to, use a certain way. Versus if I'm already in there.
No, I didn't. Yeah, because really. I gotta go over there. Oh, good.
But you know, it's like them.
I'm just trying to. I'm gonna have to whack out of the project, come back in,
Certain database.
get it to resync.
You know that.
I don't think I don't have that feature yet. Dang, I should have checked. So now I'm like, okay, do I have it yet? There we go. Irrigation pipes. It's busy checking. Yeah, I didn't have it, so it's kind of neat because if you add it there, then if the moment they get online, if they just resync the project, you get the stuff added, which is kind of cool. What we got 3 bars here, so that's okay. All right, you see that I'm watching the percentage synchronization, so now it's there. Now it's probably available. So if I go plus now, it's a valid feature type for irrigation pipe. Then I can go add, and we start here, right? And then we start walking. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these data collectors don't do the points and lines very well. Okay, so there I've added that, and I'm gonna go and do that guy. And
Shapefile determines if it's a line.
the type of data when you define the geometry.
Okay.
Well,
The irrigation pipe was the only line you had.
Exactly, yep. So then I've added the multi-line on it. Just so we got something on that. Okay. So let's go to bike racks. Let's add them.
Yeah, I gotta connect to the Wi-Fi.
Oh, shoot. That's me.
Okay, shall I keep going then?
Still on Wi-Fi, you just have to make it online mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to be on, yeah. You need the app to be online. It needs to be connected, whether it's Wi-Fi or cellular, doesn't matter. Okay, so what I've done here is go to the project in Amigo Cloud and just take a look. Bike rack surveys is a bit lower. Maybe I did something wrong on the form. Some people couldn't save it. I know that bike racks, I had 93 yesterday. Now I have 110. There you can see 2 irrigation pipes that were added. So if we click on that, so just to show you the linear features, right there. That's the one I walked. I did another one before, but there were some guys with me when I did this one right here. And then what I can do also is, so this data is in the cloud. If you want to go and actually download it, you literally just go export. So say I wanted to get the bike racks. I go export, and I can put it out in any kind of format. And then it'll actually, what they do is they prep it on the back end, and it takes probably about a minute or two, depends on the size of the data set. And then you get an email with a download link, and it downloads the file. The photos are the thing that really gets you. They actually zip everything, and they zip the photos. The photos is where the data sets get huge. So one of the options, I mean, I'll just do lowest common denominator here. But if you exclude the photos, then it'll just go and tell you there, and it's ready. Done. So I can just go to my email and download that. Also, how many of you have ever used QGIS? QGIS, never used it before? Okay. So this is an open source GIS. And it's actually very, very desktop GIS. So what I want to do now is you can connect to the Amigo Cloud data live. So this is the same bike rack data. I suppose I should turn on some other background stuff. But let's just go in to where we were, which is somewhere down here. There's the email to say my data file was ready. So this is connecting live to the same data that you're walking around capturing right now. Let me put, I'll put a, just put OpenStreetMap backdrop so that you can see where you're at. And so that's pretty much it. You guys have actually set up a project, been able to go out, capture stuff, come back, and there'll be your data. And then these are, available information now that you can download and work. So remember, this is a data collector. It's not your GIS. So let me just show you while that syncs, because it's getting a download and I'm on a slow hotspot here. So here's a traffic sign project we did. I'm going to whip right through it. But basically, I helped this group, and that's, one of the things is they are, to help you work through the workflow until you get on the bus. You can do work with that. But in essence, these guys wanted to capture their street signs, so we implemented the California Manual on Uniform Traffic Code standards on all of the drop-downs with hierarchical drop-downs. So you could say it's a regulatory type of sign, and then you go to the 3 categories, and that reduces the pick list so that you get down, because there's like 300 different sign types, and you can't have a 300 long scrolling list. It'll drive you nuts, okay? So we did all of that, but I mean, they did the same thing, captured it. They had 1-foot aerials. Here's the forms. You can see the type of sign, the subtype, and off you go. So there's category, regulatory, type, subtype. And so these guys were able to capture 19,000 signs. 7 people, well, I don't know how many people were there. Yeah, these are the guys. We actually tracked who did what. So some of them were slacking. Okay, but let's see, 7 people, they're the weak. So in about 8 or 9 weeks, 7 people captured all of those signs. And then we pulled those into the GIS. And so here they are in our web-based GIS, where you can now move your mouse over any of the signs. See the picture, there's one that's non-functional. So what we did with that is highlight all the non-functional ones, the little X, i.e. need to be replaced. They need the regulatory ones, because that's a lawsuit waiting to happen if you didn't have a stop sign that was functional. Okay, so you kind of want to check that. And so now they have the capital improvement plan. Next 3 years, they got 3,000 signs prioritized, got a plan, done, and they did that project in less than 3 months. Just with a mobile data collector back into GIS. Okay, thank you. That's it. All right. So any questions? I know there's usually a huge amount of GPS questions, and we didn't really get into the mobile GPS, and Brian put a lot of effort in providing these. We will be here the rest of the day. I'll have this one. Come and see me. We can talk about it. If you want to actually try the thing and walk around, come right afterwards. We can help you and do that if you want to. That'll be fine. Okay. Any questions? All right. Sure. No questions going once, and we're running right on time, so thank you very much. Okay?